What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Hamstang, and today we are going to do a review of the Mobvoi Ticwatch Pro Ultra GPS. And yes, it is still quite a mouthful even after 2 weeks. That's what she said. So today what we're going to do is of course talk about some pros and some cons about using this smartwatch over here on my wrist for the last 2 weeks. So yes, without further ado, let's just get right into it. So the first thing that I really do like about this is the fact that it does have a very solid build material. It is made out of stainless. In terms of the straps, nylon straps over here, and in terms of the glass, it is made out of Corning Gorilla glass. So yes, that means that it is scratch resistant, so it's of course really good. And yes, it has proven to be very durable in my 2 weeks of usage because I've been using it for a lot of stuff. I've been using it for some gym workouts, I've been using it for some swimming, and of course I did try, to just move around a lot, and sometimes it did knock on certain things, but it has held up really well. There's no scratches, there's no dents or anything on this watch, which of course is something really good. And talking about the build material over here, one thing I gotta compliment over here is the nice slick design. Yes, it's very rugged, it also does look very premium, and it's also very versatile in terms of a lot of functions. I've been using it for some dates over the last 2 weeks. I've been using it for some workouts like I mentioned, even for swimming and all this other good stuff. And yes, it still looks very compatible with whatever I'm doing. So yes, you don't have to worry about, changing the straps, or, have to worry about maybe this is too sporty for my function or whatsoever. It fits in really nice. I really like the matte black design, and of course in terms of the dial and all this other stuff, it looks really cool. Of course, if you guys want to go for a more premium feel, you can of course change the straps over here to a leather feel. Of course, you can change the watch face as well in the WearOS app. That one we're going to go through in a little bit, but all I gotta say in terms of the build material and design over here, it is really good. And of course, one more thing I want to talk about is the lightweightness of using this smartwatch. It is super lightweight, so if you're going to use it for a lot of exercise like my badminton, a lot of jumping jacks and all this other good stuff, it will really feel very nice. It's very light, and of course you don't have to weigh, have to feel very heavy while using this watch. Of course, it's a good thing. And yes, overall, been using this for the last 2 weeks, no problem whatsoever. So the next thing that I really did like about this is the Google Wear OS. For me personally, I've been using a lot of fitness band and fitness watches. I wouldn't classify those as smart watches because of many other reasons. And of course, with the Google Wear OS, it makes it a full smart watch. You can make calls, you can actually reply to messages, you can do a lot of stuff with the Wear OS over here that you cannot do on any other fitness bands or fitness watches. Of course, when it comes to the software side of things, just like any other Android devices, it is widely compatible with many other apps. You have apps like your Google Fit, Strava, you have your WearOS, you also have your Mobvoi Ticwatch Pro, and also many other apps that you can actually kind of customize a bit here and there to make it more of a universal approach. Of course, this leads me to one of the cons while using Google WearOS. Yes, it's really nice, but sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're like me when you're used to using these fitness bands and fitness watches. And what I mean by that is that if you're using those fitness band and fitness watches, they have those pre-installed apps which you cannot really kind of maneuver around. But when it comes to Google Wear OS, it sometimes can get a little bit too crazy over here. Can install a lot of stuff, you can actually uninstall a lot of stuff as well. So sometimes, just moving around and finding what you want can get a little bit overwhelming, especially even for me for the first few days. I was just moving around trying to get to what I actually want, and I had to go through one side and go to Google to see what to find. And when it comes to the apps side of things, you do have your Mobvoi's own apps, and you also have the Google Fit apps. So sometimes it can get a little bit confusing over here when you're syncing up your data. And also I want to talk about the performance of the software side of things. Yes, the Ticwatch Pro Ultra GPS is using the Snapdragon 4100 inside over here, and yes, it does perform really well in my 2 weeks of usage. But I did notice some stutters from time to time, especially when I'm switching between the Essential mode back to the normal smart mode. Sometimes I did even notice a little bit of some reset when I'm switching in between both of those two modes. I wouldn't say that this is a major deal breaker, but this of course is something that you guys should be aware of. And of course, one of the major things and a major pro that I do like about the Ticwatch 3 Pro Ultra GPS is of course the fact that it does have a very good battery for a Wear OS device. And of course, do highlight the fact that I did say Wear OS device. And again, I want to reiterate and of course remind you guys that I've been using a lot of fitness band and fitness watches like my Huawei GT2 Pro, which does give me 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks of battery life if I want to push it. But of course, when it comes to Wear OS, I think this one over here does give you the best battery life in its own market. And how Mobvoi has actually done this with the Ticwatch 3 Pro is really interesting by providing a dual display feature. So you do have one low powered LCD display and a nice AMOLED display. So sometimes when you're not looking at your watch, it's using the LCD display. So you don't have to actually kind of tilt to weight or actually touch the weight most of the time, which of course is a feature you can use. But sometimes if you just want to glance at your watch, you can actually see the time, you can actually see your steps and of course your important information. And of course, if you guys want to go into the essential mode, which of course is really awesome. If you guys want to save some battery and of course if you do not have the charger with you, you can actually turn on the essential mode and of course you can prolong your battery really well. Of course, you can't really answer calls, you can't really do anything with it, but you can actually still keep track of your steps, you can keep track of your calories and all this other stuff. You can keep all your data with you and you can sync it up later on. And of course, that is one of the cons, especially if you're like me and you're used to using most of the fitness band and fitness watches, that you'll be kind of getting used to how the battery will last between 1 week all the way to 2 to 3 days. Normally in my 2 weeks of usage, I do get about 2 days plus of battery, which of course I think is really good because I've used the stuff like the Galaxy Watch and all this other stuff, which doesn't really last that long. In these 2 days of usage, I can use the full functions like answering calls, replying messages, and at the second day, usually after that, I can actually charge it up when I'm back from work. I just put it on the charging stand, it will charge up, and then I can usually use it later at night to record my sleep. So overall, in terms of the battery life, I gotta say I'm actually quite impressed with the battery over here, and I got nothing to complain about, especially knowing that this is a Google Wear OS device. But there's one thing that I didn't quite enjoy while using this watch, and of course that is the wireless charging support. It doesn't have it over here, and you actually have to buy a separate cable if you guys want to go around and bring it everywhere, because sometimes maybe if you left it at home and you don't have the charging cable, it will go into essential mode, and of course it will be a little bit hard for you to charge up the watch over here. If it did support your wireless charging, that would be really cool because you can just put it on any wireless pad. I can even use my phone over here to reverse wireless charge, which of course is going to be very convenient. That's of course one thing that I did notice, especially using this device over here. Every 2 to 3 days you need to charge it up. But of course I can look past that because it is using your Google Wear OS. And of course that means you can use your OK Google function. And you can activate it on your phone. Of course, it does also enable you to reply to messages, which of course is something that I really do like. It's really convenient, especially when you not only can just look at your notifications, but you can actually have your smart replies as well to reply to your messages, and you can also type it out, which of course is really cool. You can also make calls to anybody on your contact list. You don't have to save maybe 5 or 10 members on your watch, but you can actually reply to anyone and of course make calls to anyone on your smartwatch. This of course is really convenient because you don't have to always look at your phone when a notification comes in, especially if you guys are in a meeting or whatsoever, which I wouldn't say I would recommend, but it does provide you that kind of versatility and of course that kind of ease of use when you're using this smartwatch over here. And now I'll talk about something that I really did enjoy while using this watch, and of course that is the workout mode and also the GPS over here. So yes, if you guys want to buy this watch for the GPS function, I would say that it is pretty good. I did do some outdoor activities over here and I did sync it out with my other apps as well to see if the GPS does match up, and I would say that it is pretty accurate in my usage. Yes, you do get a little bit of some stutters here and there in terms of the tracking, but overall I gotta say the GPS on this is really good. When it comes to the workout modes, I gotta say as well, it does have, not to say the best amount of features, it doesn't have your 100 workout sports mode, but it does give you what you actually need. For even like me, I do have like stuff like the badminton, I do use it for my workouts, swimming and all this other stuff. And yes, you do have those kind of functions in this watch over here, in terms of the calories count, in terms of the steps made, in terms of your heart rate and all the essential stuff that you're going to be recording. I would say it's actually pretty accurate. I actually use the machines over there and just try to measure my heart rate, And in terms of the difference, you're not going to get a lot of difference over here between the heart rate. I would say it's about 2 or 3 when it comes to the BPM, and when it comes to calories count as well, it is pretty accurate overall. And I will talk about the other functions over here as well, like your sleep tracking. And what I gotta say is that it isn't the most accurate as your other watches that you can find out there. When it comes to sleep tracking, when it comes to maybe me sleeping at about 12 a.m., they kind of record it at about 12:30, and when I wake up at about 7 a.m. with my alarm clock, they kind of track it at 7:15, 7:30. So yes, I wouldn't say it's the most accurate overall. Of course, you might be a little bit disappointed if you want very, very accurate results. But other than that, I am actually quite impressed with the fact that it does have your SpO2, it does have your mood tracker as well, and all this other stuff. So it does give you quite of a wholesome experience, and you can of course sync it with your Google Fit and of course track how you are actually doing day by day. So that is it on my review of the Ticwatch Pro Ultra GPS. And yes, I would say that this is one of the best smartwatch you can find out there right now, especially when it comes to the battery. Like I mentioned before when I got my unboxing video, most of the time when it comes to WearOS devices, the battery will last about 1 to 2 days, and it's very, very annoying. Imagine when you wake up in the morning, you're using it during your day, when you come back at night, you have to charge it straight away. Over here, at least you can get about at least 2 days of battery, maybe sometimes even 3 days, and of course if you turn on the essential mode, you can go on to 45 days. Yes, it does come with its flaws, but overall, in terms of the overall package, I got to say that the Ticwatch Pro Ultra GPS is a very, very good buy. Of course, if you guys want to purchase them, and of course you guys want to know a little bit more about them, I will leave a link down below for you guys to check them out. So if you guys did enjoy this video, do click the like and smash that subscribe button down below for more videos like this in the future. Do also follow me on my social as well on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also here on YouTube, and Dr. Hammer's Tech. So that is it. This is Dr. Hammer's Tech. Stay safe, take care, and wash those hands.